back. You're watching the Urban Reality special on housing and the union budget and what can be done to bring the buyer or demand back. Srini, I'm going to come to you. Right before the break, we talked about the fact that that big advantage of interest rates really falling or being on the downward curve has halted for this year, at least for now. How do you then ensure that affordability remains? What are the kind of tax breaks, which is totally under the purview of this budget, can be looked at?
No, as we spoke in this discussion itself, one is the GST. I think GST can bring a lot of, it can reduce the cost significantly. On the other hand, as you rightly said, the interest rates may remain stable or it may actually go up. But that can get compensated with the stamp duty reduction. Plus, if you look at the market, 80% of the stocks are selling under subvention. So the customer actually does not bother until the possession is coming, what is the rate of interest that is happening. So I don't think that will have an impact. What is likely to have an impact is the sentiments that needs to come back and say that, okay, all these measures which were primarily 3 or 4, demonetization, GST, RERA, Benami Act, all of them have settled. This is the rock bottom price that a customer can get so that he stops shopping around and comes and buys the apartment that he likes from a developer.
That is the finance minister's speech for sure. He's not going to do the selling for builders for sure.
No, I'm sure. I'm sure he need not do the selling for the builder, but somewhere, Manisha, you can do the selling for the builder. All news that we hear is developer being arrested or developer doing some scam.
Okay.
There are positive news also. Every day there are homes which are getting delivered as well.
Right.
So somewhere we need to get the sentiments back into the market, and the finance minister what he can do is reduce the stamp duty and GST, or bring both of them into the net. And what has RERA done to stamp duty? You had a question for Anuj, is that by the time 10% of the payment is paid, he has to actually pay the stamp duty. Which is why you see new schemes coming where from the customer you take only 1%. And the balance money is paid by him towards stamp duty.
Okay.
So let us align this in a manner where it is easy on the pocket for the customer as well. That definitely the finance minister can bring it on the table.
All right. I'm going to read out a bit of the Deloitte India list, because tax-specific house loss set-off limit of ₹2 lakh should be increased. They've also said that additional deduction for pre-construction interest is, now in a post-RERA regime, we may not see delays, but there are so many stuck buyers who are also struggling with houses which haven't got, given to them, and they're paying EMIs and not getting any tax benefits. Deloitte's also said delay in construction of property tax benefit should get narrowed down for the buyer. An incentive for first-time home buyers, Section 80E of the Act, should give an additional deduction of 50,000 as well for FTHB or first-time home buyers. Sudhir, would you agree? GST, I don't know. This may not be, it's not part of the budget speech for sure. I doubt it. Stamp duty, I doubt if he will touch it right after GST, where it's an important part of the exchequer. What he can do is some of these simple tax changes, isn't it?
I would agree. I think the government has been in active management of the real estate industry even outside of budget, and we've seen that over the last 1 year. So there's a lot which has happened outside budget, So GST discussions outside the budget. They've done RERA, demonetization, and a slew of other measures, including affordable outside budget. So I think from a budget perspective, it'll be fair to expect the changes that you mentioned. I think tax breaks for the consumer to buy his first home or to even upgrade his home to a larger home are
that can
well-deserved.
easily be extended. That can easily be extended. They just said up to March 2017, but they could have extended that very easily.
Plus, I think the quantum of
tax benefits
can be taken up, because I think houses cost a lot more compared to earlier, and the extent of benefit
it's been stuck at 2 lakhs for some time now, for more than 2 years, right? The tax deduction limit as well.
That's right.
So that, I think, is a sitting duck. Okay, Anuj, would you like to wrap out for us in terms of the tax breaks which can really help, and do they really help in bringing the buyer back? Is it something which influences his purchase decision at all?
So Manisha, I have a little bit of a different take other than the tax break. I do feel is that the confidence needs to come in. And, certainly in the NCR region, Manisha, that confidence is lacking. So, there is a requirement perhaps of 80,000 crores to complete the incomplete units. You just now said is, there are buyers who are stuck. I think the finance ministry should really look at it that can they create a pool? Can they create some kind of a fund? It's 80,000 crores that is required to complete some of these incomplete units, which I don't know how they're going to ever get completed. I mean, there are some of those names which media has propagated where we know that those units are unlikely to get completed. That, to my mind, Manisha, is really causing a lot of grief in the confidence and the minds of the buyers, saying is that, how do I know that if I actually go ahead and do this, whether the developer is going to be able to complete it or not, given that in NCR,
I agree, Anuj.
Noida,
we've run out of time, Anuj, but I completely agree with you that, some way has to be found to resolve the non-delivered apartments, that crisis. If the figure is 80,000 crore rupees, how does it come in? How does a pool get created? Probably that alone, completion of all the stuck flats will bring back that confidence, which is missing. Gentlemen, I'm going to thank you on that note. Sudhir Pai, Anuj Puri and Srinivasan Gopalan. Pleasure to have you, gentlemen. I don't know how many of these really fall in the purview of the union budget, but definitely lot has been done outside of the union budget. This is just a conversation that what can be done to bring back the demand. And if you look at the figures, 13% of the young and growing population is going to shift to urban areas by 2030. They will all need a roof over their head, whether they rent it or they own it. Now, 13% of India's population is a big number. It's 150 million. Only 7 countries in the world have a higher population than that. So we'll sign off on a positive note that housing demand has to come back sooner than later, and hopefully everything will align and we'll get some bonanzas on 1st February. Thank you very much for watching.